There comes a quiet turning point in every life that no one applauds and few people ever notice. It is the moment you grow tired of knocking on doors that never open, of carrying conversations that only you keep alive, and of shrinking your spirit just to remain in someone's view. At first, it feels like loss, as though walking away means giving up. But what if the greatest victory of your life is not found in holding on, but in finally letting go? What if the peace you've been searching for has never been hiding inside another person's approval, but has been patiently waiting inside your own heart? The day you stop chasing people is not the day your world becomes smaller. It is the day your life begins to expand. You discover that what is meant to stay does not need to be forced. What is real does not demand that you abandon yourself. And what truly belongs to you has a remarkable way of finding its path. Sometimes the most powerful step forward is the one you take away from the constant pursuit of being chosen, because that single decision allows everything that was delayed, everything that was clouded, and everything that was prepared for your future to finally begin falling into place. There's a quiet strength that awakens the moment you stop running after people who have already decided not to walk beside you. It is not an act of bitterness, nor is it a declaration of pride. It is an act of self-respect. Too often, we believe that if we try a little harder, love a little deeper, or sacrifice a little more, someone will finally recognize our value. Yet a heart that is determined to overlook your light will remain blind, no matter how brightly you shine. You were never created to spend your days convincing others that you deserve kindness, respect, or a place in their lives. Your existence is already enough, and your worth has never depended on another person's ability to appreciate it. Many of us have spent years believing that letting go means losing. We fear that if we stop reaching out, stop explaining ourselves, or stop carrying relationships on our shoulders, we will be left with nothing. But life has a gentle way of revealing a deeper truth. What leaves because you stopped chasing was never standing beside you in the first place. Genuine connection does not demand endless pursuit. It grows through mutual care, shared effort, and sincere appreciation. The people who truly belong in your life may not always agree with you, but they will never make you feel as though your love must be earned through exhaustion. Every ounce of energy you spend chasing someone who keeps moving away is energy taken from your own dreams, your own healing, and your own purpose. Imagine what could happen if you redirected that strength toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. Read the book you have postponed. Learn the skill you have doubted yourself capable of mastering. Care for your mind, your spirit, and your body with the same devotion you once reserved for winning someone else's attention. As you begin investing in yourself, you will notice something remarkable. Confidence grows quietly. Peace settles deeply. Joy no longer waits for someone else's approval before entering your life. There is wisdom in understanding that every goodbye creates room for a new hello. Nature teaches this lesson with every changing season. Trees release their leaves without fear because they trust that new growth will come. Rivers keep flowing because they do not cling to the water that has already passed. In the same way, your life cannot fully bloom while your hands are tightly holding on to people who have already let go. Releasing them is not a punishment. It is an invitation for new opportunities, healthier relationships, and unexpected blessings to find their way to you. One day you will look back and realize that the people you chased were never the answer you believed they were. The real transformation began when you chose yourself without apology. The moment you stopped begging for a seat at someone else's table, you discovered that you had the ability to build your own. And around that table will gather those who celebrate your voice, honor your heart, and cherish your presence without being persuaded. When you stop running after what refuses to choose you, life has space to place before you what has been waiting for you all along. That is where peace begins. Purpose becomes clearer, and everything starts falling beautifully into place. There is a dangerous habit that quietly steals joy from countless lives. It begins when we hand the measure of our worth to someone else's opinion. We start counting the unanswered messages, waiting for invitations that never come, and searching every silence for proof that we are enough. Before long, we begin to believe that attention is the same as love, and approval is the same as value. But these are two very different things. A person may overlook a priceless treasure simply because they do not recognize its beauty. Their inability to see your worth does not lessen the greatness that already lives within you. Think of the sun for a moment. It does not shine because the world applauds it. It rises each morning because shining is its nature. Even on cloudy days, when no one sees its light, the sun has lost none of its brilliance. In much the same way, your character, your kindness, your wisdom, and your dreams do not become more valuable because someone notices them. They already possess meaning. The mistake we often make is believing that recognition creates value, when in truth, it only reveals what was there all along. The world will always be filled with different voices. Some will encourage you, while others may ignore your efforts entirely. If you build your confidence upon their reactions, your peace will rise and fall like leaves caught in the wind. One compliment will make you feel unstoppable, while one rejection will make you question everything about yourself. That is a heavy burden to carry, because it places your happiness in hands that were never meant to hold it. Lasting confidence is born when you decide that your principles matter more than applause, and your purpose matters more than popularity. This does not mean you stop loving people or appreciating meaningful relationships. We all long to be seen, understood, and valued. Those desires are part of being human, but there is a profound difference between appreciating love and depending on it to define who you are. Healthy relationships add beauty to your life. They should never become the foundation upon which your identity stands. The strongest people are not those who never experience rejection. They are the ones who remember their worth even when doors close, conversations end, and expectations are not fulfilled. When you begin to honor yourself, something remarkable changes. You no longer feel compelled to compete for attention or prove your importance. Your words become calmer because they no longer seek validation. Your heart becomes lighter because it is no longer carrying the impossible task of pleasing everyone. You start making choices that reflect your values instead of your fears. The respect you give yourself quietly teaches others how to treat you. And those who cannot appreciate your presence naturally drift away, without taking your peace with them. Never forget that the greatest voices in history were not made powerful by universal approval. They became unforgettable because they remained faithful to who they were, even when the world failed to understand them. Let your life follow that same path. Stand firmly in your truth. Continue to grow, continue to love, and continue to walk with quiet confidence. The measure of your life will never be found in the number of people watching you. It will always be found in the courage to recognize your own worth, to protect it with grace, and to live each day knowing that no person's attention has the authority to decide your value. There comes a moment when the heart grows weary, not because it has loved too deeply, but because it has been carrying the weight of trying to make unwilling people stay. Desperation has a quiet way of disguising itself as devotion. It whispers that if you call one more time, explain yourself one more time, or sacrifice one more piece of your happiness, everything will finally work out. But peace can never grow in a place where you are constantly abandoning yourself to keep someone else comfortable. The soul was never designed to survive on crumbs of affection. It was created to breathe freely in relationships where love, respect, and kindness flow naturally. The hardest lesson life teaches is that not everything can be forced into existence. You cannot force loyalty into an unfaithful heart. You cannot force appreciation into someone who has become blind to your efforts. You cannot force understanding into a mind that has already chosen misunderstanding. Yet so many people spend years exhausting themselves in battles that were never theirs to fight. Every attempt to control another person's feelings steals a little more of your own serenity. The more tightly you hold on to what is slipping away, the less room you have to embrace the blessings quietly waiting to enter your life. Peace begins when you release the belief that every ending is your responsibility to prevent. Some chapters close because they have already given you every lesson they were meant to teach. Some people leave because their role in your journey has been completed. It is painful, but pain is not always punishment. Sometimes it is preparation. The empty space left behind by disappointment often becomes the very place where wisdom takes root. What once felt like loss slowly reveals itself as freedom, allowing your heart to breathe without the constant fear of rejection or abandonment. Notice how nature never struggles to become what it was created to be. The ocean does not chase the rivers, yet they always find their way to it. Flowers do not beg the bees to visit. They simply bloom with patience and authenticity. The stars never compete for attention, yet they illuminate the darkest nights with quiet confidence. There's a timeless lesson in these simple wonders. Life unfolds beautifully when it moves according to its natural rhythm. The more you trust that rhythm instead of resisting it, the more peaceful your spirit becomes. You no longer waste precious energy trying to rewrite someone else's choices. Instead, you become fully present in shaping your own character. Choosing peace does not mean your heart becomes cold. It means your heart becomes wise. You still care deeply, but you stop confusing sacrifice with love. You stop believing that suffering is proof of commitment. Real love does not require you to lose yourself. Genuine connection never demands that you silence your voice, ignore your values, or constantly question whether you are enough. The relationships that deserve a place in your life will encourage your growth rather than consume your strength. They will bring calm instead of confusion, clarity instead of constant uncertainty. As you let go of desperation, you begin to notice how much beauty has been waiting for your attention all along. The sunrise feels brighter. Your laughter becomes more genuine. Your dreams no longer sit quietly in the corner, while all your energy is spent chasing approval. You rediscover the joy of becoming rather than convincing. You learn that peace is not something another person can hand to you. It is something you cultivate within yourself through trust, acceptance, and self-respect. And once that peace takes root, no rejection can steal it, no silence can disturb it, and no goodbye can diminish it. That is the quiet miracle of letting go. The moment desperation leaves your heart, peace finally finds its way home. One of the greatest freedoms you will ever discover is the realization that what is truly meant for your life does not ask you to surrender your dignity in order to receive it. There is a profound difference between perseverance and pleading. Perseverance helps you grow through challenges, but pleading slowly convinces you that your worth must be negotiated. Somewhere along the journey, many people confuse these two ideas. They begin to believe that if they just give a little more, endure a little longer, or silence their own needs for a little while, they will finally earn the love, respect, or opportunity they have been chasing. Yet the finest gifts in life are not built upon humiliation. They are rooted in mutual appreciation, trust, and grace. Think about the people who have left lasting marks on your heart. Chances are they were not the ones who constantly made you question where you stood. They were the ones whose kindness felt sincere, whose presence brought comfort instead of confusion, and whose actions matched their words. They did not require endless persuasion before offering respect. They did not make affection feel like a reward that had to be won every single day. They simply showed up with honesty. That is how genuine relationships are meant to grow, not through endless pursuit, but through shared commitment and willing hearts. The same truth reaches far beyond relationships. Sometimes we beg life itself to unfold according to our plans. We knock on doors that remain firmly closed and become convinced that if we knock loudly enough, they will eventually open. But every closed door is not a punishment. Some are acts of protection. There are opportunities that appear attractive only because we cannot yet see what lies beyond them. If every desire were granted the moment we demanded it, we might walk straight into places that would diminish our peace instead of expanding it. Wisdom often arrives disguised as delay, and unanswered hopes sometimes become the very reason greater blessings find their way to us. There is remarkable strength in trusting that your path does not depend upon convincing the world to choose you. The right opportunity will recognize preparation. The right friendship will recognize sincerity. The right partnership will recognize your heart without asking you to become someone else first. This does not mean life will always be easy or that success will arrive without effort. Every meaningful dream requires discipline, patience, and courage. But there is a difference between working faithfully toward your purpose and exhausting yourself trying to force what was never designed for you. One builds character, the other drains your spirit. When you release the need to beg for what should come freely, your entire outlook begins to change. You become less anxious because you stop measuring every outcome as a reflection of your value. You stop chasing approval and begin pursuing growth. You no longer fear every goodbye because you understand that what truly belongs in your life cannot be stolen by another person's decision. Your confidence becomes quieter, but it also becomes stronger. It is no longer dependent on being accepted everywhere you go. Instead, It rests upon the certainty that your life has purpose beyond any single rejection or disappointment. Walk through this world with your head held high and your heart open, but never at the cost of your self-respect. Continue planting seeds of kindness. Continue working with integrity. And continue believing in the gifts placed within you. The people, places, and opportunities that are aligned with your journey will meet you where authenticity lives, not where desperation hides. When you stop begging to be chosen, you make room for a beautiful truth to unfold. What is meant for you does not arrive because you chased it without end. It arrives because you became the person prepared to receive it with grace, gratitude, and unwavering faith. The day you decide to choose yourself is not the day you become selfish. It is the day you finally recognize that your life deserves your own attention. For far too long, many people pour their finest energy into proving they are worthy of being loved, accepted, or remembered by others. They become experts at meeting everyone else's expectations, while quietly abandoning their own dreams. They know how to encourage others, but forget how to encourage themselves. They celebrate everyone else's victories, while allowing their own potential to remain hidden. Yet no lasting transformation begins by looking outward. It begins with the quiet decision to look within and believe that your own growth is a purpose worth pursuing. Choosing yourself does not mean closing your heart to the world. It means opening your heart to the person who has been waiting for your kindness all along, you. There is a beautiful difference between living for approval and living with purpose. Approval changes with opinions, but purpose remains steady through every season of life. When you begin to invest your time in learning, healing, creating, and becoming, something extraordinary starts happening inside you. You no longer wake each morning wondering who will notice you. Instead, you wake with excitement about who you are becoming. That shift changes everything because your happiness is no longer tied to circumstances beyond your control. Growth is rarely loud. It happens in the quiet hours when no one is watching. It is found in the books you choose to read instead of dwelling on disappointment. It appears in the difficult conversations you have with yourself, where excuses are replaced with responsibility and fear is replaced with courage. It grows every time you forgive yourself for past mistakes and decide to keep moving forward instead of remaining trapped by regret. These moments may seem small, but they slowly shape a life of remarkable strength. Great transformations are built from countless ordinary decisions made with extraordinary consistency. As you continue this journey, you will notice that your confidence begins to change. It is no longer the fragile confidence that depends on compliments or recognition. It becomes the quiet confidence that comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every goal you complete reminds you that you are capable. Every obstacle you overcome teaches you resilience. Every lesson you learn adds another layer of wisdom that no one can take away. This kind of confidence does not need to announce itself. It speaks through calm decisions, patient actions, and the peace that comes from knowing you are growing into the person you were created to become. There will still be moments when old habits try to return. You may feel tempted to seek validation from people who never truly appreciated your heart. You may wonder if changing yourself is worth the effort when others seem unwilling to change at all. During those moments, remember that your journey has never been about controlling anyone else's choices. It has always been about becoming the best version of yourself. Every step you take toward wisdom, integrity, and compassion is an investment that will continue paying dividends long after temporary opinions have faded away. One day you will look back and realize that the greatest gift you ever gave yourself was your own commitment to growth. The people you once chased will no longer occupy your thoughts because your life will be filled with meaningful purpose, genuine peace, and authentic relationships. You will discover talents you never knew you possessed, courage you never believed you had, and joy that cannot be taken away by another person's absence. That is the miracle of choosing yourself. It is not an act of turning away from others. It is an act of finally turning toward the life that has been waiting for you. And from that moment forward, every choice rooted in self-respect, every lesson embraced with humility, and every dream pursued with faith becomes another step in the beautiful transformation that was always meant to be yours. Few experiences test the human spirit more than rejection. It arrives without invitation, often carrying disappointment, confusion, and unanswered questions. A friendship fades without explanation. An opportunity slips through your hands. Someone you deeply cared about chooses another direction. In those moments, it is easy to believe that life is taking something precious away from you. The heart naturally asks, why wasn't I enough? Yet the most important question is not why something ended, but what that ending is preparing you to discover. Many of life's greatest blessings first arrive disguised as closed doors, asking you to trust a path that you cannot yet understand. Think of an eagle learning to fly. There comes a moment when the nest that once provided comfort can no longer remain home. The young bird may not understand why it is being pushed toward the open sky, but without that uncomfortable moment, it would never discover the strength hidden within its own wings. In much the same way, life sometimes removes familiar places, familiar people, and familiar expectations because they have become too small for the future waiting ahead. What feels like rejection today may simply be life refusing to let you settle for less than your true potential. There is wisdom in recognizing that not every opportunity deserves your enmity simply because you desired it. Sometimes we become attached to a single outcome, believing it is the only road to happiness. We cling so tightly to one dream that we overlook the countless possibilities quietly unfolding around us. When one door closes, our eyes often remain fixed upon it, leaving us unable to see the window opening just a few steps away. The future rarely arrives in the form we expect. It often surprises us with people we never planned to meet, places we never imagined visiting, and experiences that reshape our understanding of what fulfillment truly means. Every rejection also carries an invitation to grow. It encourages you to become stronger instead of becoming bitter. It teaches patience when you would rather have immediate answers. It develops resilience when comfort would have left your character unchanged. The greatest victories are seldom achieved by those who never faced disappointment. They belong to those who refuse to let disappointment define them. Every setback becomes another chapter of wisdom, another reminder that your journey is being shaped by something greater than temporary circumstances. This does not mean the pain disappears overnight. Healing has its own rhythm, and every heart deserves the time to recover. It is perfectly human to grieve what you hoped would last, but never allow temporary sorrow to convince you that your story has reached its conclusion. A single chapter can never tell the whole story of a remarkable life. There are pages still waiting to be written, conversations still waiting to happen, and opportunities already moving quietly toward you. The ending you feared may become the beginning you one day celebrate with gratitude. As you continue walking forward, carry this truth gently within your heart. Rejection is not always a declaration that you are unworthy. More often, it is an invitation to keep moving until you arrive where your gifts are welcomed, your character is appreciated, and your presence is celebrated instead of merely tolerated. Trust that every closed door is creating space for one that opens with greater purpose. One day, you will look behind you and realize that the disappointments you once cried over were never meant to destroy your future. They were quietly redirecting your steps toward a life far richer than the one you were trying so desperately to hold on to. And when that realization finally settles into your soul, you will no longer see rejection as the end of your journey. You will recognize it as one of the most faithful guides you ever had.